All right, welcome back to Kev's Keepers. Um, my channel, I'm just kind of starting to get into cards again. I collected cards when I was young through the late 80s, through the 90s, and I collected autographs. I've collected autographs for about 30 years, and I have tons of them. Um, and I because of the quarantine, I'm just kind of going through some of my stuff. I haven't looked through these autographs in probably 15 to 20 years. So it's just kind of a trip down memory lane for me. Um, I'm born and raised in Wisconsin, and a lot of my autographs are Packers, Badgers, Bucks, and Brewers. But I was fortunate enough to travel around and go to a bunch of other NFL training camps during my time. So I have a bunch of autographs from very random other teams as well. So this is just on a trip down memory lane for me. I know these cards aren't worth any money, and they're just kind of memories for me. I would never sell any of my autographs, but I have a lot of stories from players that I've came across in my day. Um, so this is video 6 of this series, and we'll just kind of see who we get. So again, we'll start from the back and see who we get. All right. So up first, we have, who in the heck is that? Is that Chad Brown? I have no idea who that is. Oh, Dante Jones. Dante Jones. He was a linebacker for the Steelers. This is just a random San Francisco versus Pittsburgh card. Dante Jones. Then we have Greg Jones, a running back for the Steelers. Henry Jones, DB for Buffalo. We have Robert Jones. He was a linebacker for Dallas here. Another Robert Jones. Robert Jones. Sorry, get this so it's centered a little bit. Lots of Robert Jones here. All right, very underrated defensive end for the Packers back in their day. Played for Houston, Oakland, Green Bay. Sean Jones started opposite Reggie White. What a defensive line the Packers had during their Super Bowl runs in the 90s. Seth Joyner, DB, or I'm sorry, a linebacker with the Eagles for a long time, and then he joined the Packers. We had this card last time. It's a signed card of Bao Zhu, David Martin, and Torrance Marshall. Last time it was in with Torrance Marshall. This time it's in with Bao Zhu. Right here's one. John Yurkovich from the Packers. It's a defensive tackle for a number of years. I believe he started as a defensive tackle on that same line with Reggie White and Sean Jones. John Yurkovich. Aaron Campman. He was always so nice. When he was with the Packers, he signed for everyone. Corinthians 3:23. Here we go. Javon Curse. I thought he was going to be great. Linebacker, rush linebacker out of Florida. He had an okay career. Never really lived up though. There's another Javon Curse, right? Here we go, Hall of Famer. Jim Kelly, part of that Buffalo Bills team with Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, Bruce Smith. Another Jim Kelly. Another Jim Kelly. Another Jim Kelly. There's another one. Cortez Kennedy. I believe he is passed as well. Might be wrong on that one, but that just rings a bell. Cortez Kennedy. Here we go. Lincoln Kennedy, first round pick of the Falcons. Eddie Kennison. Wow, I haven't thought or heard of that name in a long time. Receiver with St. Louis. So he must have been the third wide receiver with Bruce and Holt. Pretty nice gig there. Another Kennison. We have Marlon Kerner. This is interesting. He leaves his autograph and then he puts in parentheses Kern. I don't know if I've ever seen a player willingly do that before. Jerome Kersey. Levon Kirkland. Good linebacker with the Steelers. Jim Klein-Saucer. Man, he had some big arms on him. He's a big lad. Lindsey Knapp on the Super Bowl team with the Packers. George Kuntz. I remember he had a signing in Madison it must have been 93. And this was the only card that he had out at the time, and we opened pack after pack after pack after pack, trying to get this 93 Fleer George Kuntz card. We finally got it, and we got it signed at the signing. More George Kuntz. Scott Kolakowski, linebacker with the Eagles. Eric Kramer, QB with Detroit and Chicago. A pretty nice card right there. Select certified. Bob Kuberski, played a couple years with the Packers. Jeff Lageman. So I believe he was one of the expansion picks for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he started off with the Jets, and then I think he was an expansion pick for the Jaguars. Yeah. Lamar Lathan, really good linebacker with Carolina in his time. This is one of my all-time favorite Packers. He didn't amount to anything, but he's just a really nice, genuine guy. Charles Lee. Really like Charles Lee. Really cheered for him, but Sean Lee. Pretty darn good Packers back here. Dorsey Levens. Dorsey blows. More Dorsey Levens. Two different medals. I like these. I really like these medal cards. Darrell Lewis, 1990 Jim Thorpe Award winner with Arizona. Jermaine Lewis. We're in the Lewis section. You may know who's next. Hall of Famer Ray Lewis. Roderick Lewis, tight end. Former Packers coach Sherman Lewis. Thomas Lewis, wide receiver. Another Thomas Lewis. We have Everett Lindsay. For the Vikings. Greg Lloyd. I'll always remember him on one side, Kevin Green on the other side. Two darn intense players, that's for sure. The other thing is, he had to have been one of the last players to wear one of those plastic face masks. I always thought that was funny, and that's one thing that I remember about him. Another Greg Lloyd. Kevin Lockett. Kevin Lockett again. Spin these around. Few more Kevin Locketts here. Hey, with the Bulls documentary that's coming out, here's a Chicago Bull. Luke, the man in the middle. Luke Longley. Ryan Longwell. I believe I probably have a ton of him, so we'll just kind of go through these really quick. He was always someone that signed a ton. Here's one, Hall of Famer, Ronnie Lott. Longtime lineman, Kirk Laudermilk. Michael Lowry, linebacker for the Bears. Here's a dual sign card. We have upper left, Anthony Lucas, a wide receiver, and on the bottom right, Niall Diggs. Diggs was with the Packers for a while, and he went on to Philly, I believe. Anthony Lucas, not so much. A couple more, or at least one more Anthony Lucas here. Here we have, who do we have? Nick Williams and Scott Covington. So this must be a Scott. No, I don't know whose autograph this is. Neither of them fit in here, but it looks like Nick Williams to me. Nick Lushi. When Packers signed him, I was pumped because I thought he was going to be good. Nope. Sean Lumpkin. Todd Light. And then another Todd Light. And then we'll finish off with a Pratt Lions. the Oilers. Do one more small stack here. So we have a Willie Jackson, kicker Jeff Jagger, another Jeff Jagger, another Jeff Jagger, and another couple Jeff Jaggers. All right, random Brewer hit here. John Jaha. Deron Jenkins. Keith Jennings. Andre Johnson, lineman out of Penn State for the Redskins. Anthony Johnson, or a couple Anthony Johnson. Vikings QB, Brad Johnson. Steelers wideout, Charles Johnson. First round pick for Indy, I believe, Ellis Johnson. Former Bucks and Sonics center, Irvin Johnson. Saints and Packers defensive end, Joe Johnson. Here's another failed experiment for the Packers. Joe Johnson, Joe Johnson. I always liked this card here. Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson. Man, I guess Joe Johnson was a good signer. Wow. LaShawn Johnson. Look at him showing off right there. I remember when we drafted LaShawn Johnson out of Arizona State. It's like the fastest guy at the combine, was supposed to be great. He had like 1 or 2 good games, and that was it. Rob Johnson, QB. Trey Johnson. Second round pick of the Redskins here. Chris T. Jones. Do a couple more. I have about a minute left. Here's a name. Tunch Ilkin. Lineman with the Steelers. Another Tunch Ilkin. Tunch Ilkin. Former Packers coach, Lindy Infante. I believe I got his autograph when he was a coach of the Colts, though, Lindy Infante. Here's one. Qadry Ismail, the Missile. This is kind of cool. So he just signed at Missile 82 and then Jeremiah 28, 11 through 13. So his brother was Rahib Ishmael, the Rocket Ishmael, and Qadry was the Missile. Longtime Packers kicker Chris Jackie. Grady Jackson. I loved Grady Jackson when he was with the Packers. It's pretty darn good. He had a gold tooth too that I thought was pretty cool. Grady. And he, as Chris Berman on SportsCenter would say, Michael Jackson, wide receiver for Baltimore. All right, so that'll do it for this video. Thanks for tuning in. Send me a like, a comment, subscribe to my channel. This is 6. I'll probably have another 3 or 4 more. Just going back through time. So again, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.